Well, good evening, everybody. How you doing? I see the meters moving, so I assume that the microphone's working, and hopefully you can all hear me. And I went ahead and made a lot of adjustments to my camera, which it seems that I had set up wrong for quite a while. I'll explain what I did, but I hope I actually look a little better, maybe a little less contrasty tonight. It's hard to tell. I can see what I look like on my monitor, but until I actually watch the replay of the live stream when they fuzz it all up, it's hard for me to tell what it finally comes out like. Well, so we off to a little start here. Thanks for coming in, guys. Bill, Metro Drones, thanks so much, my friend, and good to see you here. You showed up early. Glad to have you. Jody, Drone Shots, and Nathaniel Lee popped in, and Tomas O'Sullivan, which makes this an international, or as Spike would say, viewers all around the world. I like that. Arizona, Drone Dude, good to see you. Vidar, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you here tonight, and Carlos will be in to join us in a few minutes, and that's nice. So anyway, we're off to a start Thursday night. Another exciting day of sitting home doing basically nothing. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Although down here in Florida, after listening to Rick DeSantis, the governor's press conference yesterday, it looks like we really didn't get hit nearly as hard as a lot of other places down here, in showing all the graphs and charts of where we were always the tiny little charts and everybody else was the nice big charts. And so they're planning on Monday to start a phase one pre-opening or opening or whatever they're going to call it, and they're going to allow restaurants to actually serve people inside, but only limited to 25% capacity. Now, having been in the restaurant business, unfortunately, I can tell you that at 25% capacity, you can't pay the bills. However, being closed, you certainly can't pay the bills. So I guess it's a good start. They're going to let them put tables outside as well. And there's usually a lot of local ordinances about how many tables you can have outside. So I think they're kind of putting them to the side. So we'll see. Interestingly, they decided not to open barbers and beauty shops, health clubs and gyms yet, even though they've done it in Georgia, maybe erring on the side of caution. But at least they're moving ahead on something, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not staying home because they're telling me to stay home. We never had a stay-at-home order in our state like so many other states. We had a thing called safer at home, meaning I guess it was a suggestion, but there were no fines, there were no police running around telling you to go home, and so we had a lot looser standards than most of the other states, and yet we're still way, way, way low on the number of cases and the number of deaths. And considering the disproportionate old people population that we have here in Florida, it's not surprising that we don't have more deaths than a lot of other places. I'm wondering if there might not be something to the fact that sunlight, higher temperatures, and humidity are not friendly to this virus, and it's entirely possible because of our weather, that that's a distinct factor in the fact that it hasn't hit us as hard. Timeless Truths, how you doing? Good to see you. And Nathaniel, how is that big airplane coming along? Well, you mean this helicopter is what I've been working on, and I got it sitting on a table behind me here because this is where I work on it, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. It is coming. I'm really starting to, even though it appeared the other day that the RG Pilot software was going to make my head smoke. Surprisingly, I'm learning a lot about it, and I'm getting the thing programmed, and I'm getting it all set up, and getting all the gizmos working on it. And the next step that I need to do is to set up. If any of you've ever done helicopters, you know you have to set up the rotor head. You have to set the servo throws to give you the correct negative and positive collective pitch angles, and so these are all settings that normally are done in the radio itself by limiting the top and bottom throws of the servos and things like that. But because it's not the radio that's basically flying this helicopter, it's the autopilot, RG pilot, that's actually doing the flying. All the settings and all that stuff is all tuned in RG pilot, and it's not really that time consuming, but you have to make sure that you do it very carefully. I would, when you do something wrong with a quad, or you hook it up backwards and you put it out there and you hit the arm switch and it flips like this, you disarm it and go out there and pick it up and flip it back over. If something like that happens with this helicopter, it's a disaster. So I got to be very, very careful. And when I actually do the initial tests on the rotor in all the directions, I'll do it without the rotor blades on it. It'll just have the tail rotor blade, and it's a flybar helicopter. And when it's running with just the flybars, of course, you're not getting any lift, but you can, when you move the controls or tilt the craft one way or another, you can actually see the rotor disc motion. The fly bars will turn the head, and you can tell whether it's going the right way or the wrong way. I did run it up once already, and found out that the collective was working the wrong way, and the roll servo had to be reversed. Again, that's done in the RG pilot setup and not actually in the radio. You set up nothing in the radio except make sure you got one switch assigned to channel 8 to it's a throttle interlock. So even though you arm the thing to fly until you and I put it on a rotary knob because you're much less likely on something like that to accidentally bump a switch and unlock the thing. A rotary knob you can't accidentally move. So when the rotary knob is all the way to the left, the engine won't start, and the ground control software just keeps telling you that it's locked until you unlock it. So I did get it, actually got it to spin up, and we're getting there. And I'll go over that. Well, I might talk a little bit about it tonight, but Sunday night on the workshop we'll go over that. Gary, Brand Aerials, how you doing? Who else came in that I missed? I think that's about it in the chat, although I see that we're up to 13 people now. So that's about it. I don't know about you, but I'm just getting tired of this stuff, and I think we have to be very careful that we don't let them get away with this too long, especially in some of the states where they're taking I think their leaders are taking their powers just a little too seriously. At least down here in Florida, the governor doesn't, but there are a couple of local. That's the problem. Besides what the governor does at his level or the president does at his level, you got the county level politicians who are certainly larger bureaucrats in a sense. And then if that wasn't enough, each of the little individual cities has their own bureaucracy. And I think the way the laws go, it works bottom up. So no matter what anybody else says, if the city of Podunk Junction says nobody's allowed out of the house or they're going to be shot, that's that's what they're going to enforce. So you have 3 or 4 different levels of this bureaucracy, and a lot of lunacy to put up with. Anyway, enough of that. I got a couple of guys eating my fruit bowl and bananas in the green room here, and let me bring them in. Somebody that's usually a regular on here.
A couple of guys.
Oh,
eating
Echo.
My fruit bowl and bananas
Carlos.
in the green room here.
Is that you or me?
After that, regular on here. A couple of guys.
That's you, Carlos. You got something speaker going on in the stream with a delay. I had to mute your mic for it to stop.
That's you, Carlos. You got something speaker
Hello?
going on
Yeah.
in the stream.
Yeah, Carlos, something's echoing from you. You got the
Right,
stream.
I did it backwards.
You need to mute the
I did
stream.
it backwards. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm used
You're a
to doing it.
professional, Carlos. You should know better.
I'm hooking up my. I finally went through my computer instead of my cell phone. Yay!
Oh, okay. Well, that's
why I
good.
look
That's
worse.
good.
I look better but worse.
Yeah, you're not wearing headphones, huh?
No.
Okay. All
Bad?
right.
Does it sound bad? I could wear headphones.
Well, I can't hear it. I can't hear it now, but you've turned off the speaker.
Yeah, no, because I was using the phone. And
Okay.
you're supposed to do it the other way around.
Oh, okay. I got you. And we got Gary here. Grand Ariels, who I haven't seen in a long time. How you doing, stranger?
Oh, I've been around. It just seems like Thursday night I'm never home. I catch you on the replays, but
Well, good to see you, Gary. How's everything up in the great north?
well, we're pretty much locked down. We're gonna stay that way for a while, I guess.
Really?
School's out until the 31st of May, and we'll look at it then. And yeah, it's not so bad. You know, we can go for groceries and stuff like that. And you need a trip to the hardware store, you order online, and they bring it out to your car. And yeah, it's all right. You know.
How about the disease itself? How's it affecting you guys? What are your numbers like?
We're, I think, let's see, I'm trying to think of what your numbers are. We're a tenth, or half of a tenth of what you are. Like, I kind of look at it per capita, right? And you guys are at 350 million, we're 35 million. You've got 1 million cases, we've got 50,000 maybe.
Okay, so you're less per capita than we are.
Yeah, half per capita. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to keep it that way.
I don't believe all those numbers that we're hearing. I know
Well-
the mayor of New York added like 2,500 because these people died, and they probably died, but we didn't get to test them. So he added them to the list.
I think there's and of course there's always going to be, no matter what happens, there's going to be just a shitload of politics in it. Everybody's got their own agenda, and you just have to, take it with a grain of sand, and sometime 5 years from now, maybe after all the investigations that they're going to probably have to try to get more political gain out of it.
Well, what is it?
We'll know what the real truth is. We'll know what the numbers were.
Is it less than 1% of the population is getting this? Like,
Well, the
really small.
I don't know. Let's see. There's 350 million people in this country, and 3 million cases? Is that what we got? I don't keep track. I don't look at those numbers. 1 million. So yeah, so it's less than 1%.
And and we have to wait for a vaccine for less than 1% of.
No, we're not going to have to wait for a vaccine. They're
No,
going
I
to
know.
finally realize as they start to phase the opening. I think that the people begin to see that they're not dropping like flies on the street, and the people themselves will finally just decide when it's time. Now, they're doing their best just to scare the pants off everybody. which is also going to slow things down because even if the restaurants and people open up, you know, there's a lot of people that have been scared out of their mind with this that just aren't going to go because they're going to feel the opposite way. They're going to be saying that they're underplaying it, that it's much worse than they're telling us. You know, I mean, you always got two camps. I wonder whatever happened to the old middle of the road. Remember that? There used to be a
The
middle
gray
of the road. Yeah, but now there's no middle of the road on anything. There's only wildly this side or wildly that side. And
Changing the subject a little bit, Mitch. Have you heard of a YouTube video or a show called Out of Shadows? Anybody?
No.
I'm going to put a link later. Watch it on your own time. It's going to sound like it's a religious program, but it's not. It's about the CIA. I'll put a link later on in the end.
You know, I try to yeah, put it in there if anybody's interested. But as far as I'm concerned, I pretty well. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I pretty well understand the depths of deception that all of our government agencies operate under.
This in particular is about Hollywood and the CIA and the influence.
There's so much of this. There's so much of this stuff going on. Most of it will never get out. I don't know if it would be good for it to all get out, but it's all there. It's always been there. It's always been there.
It's really sad.
Well, you know, even with J. Edgar Hoover back with in the FBI days, all the nonsense that went on with him. It's just you give people power, and it takes a very strong person to not let that power go to their head and not start to use that power to benefit them, their cronies, their friends, their business associates, their family, and everybody else. That's just the nature of politics, unfortunately, and the only possible way to fix that problem would be to shrink the size of our governing bodies down to 5% of what they are today. Because if you threw all those people out into the street and they had to make a living based on their own performance and their own talents, it'd be a whole different world. But as long as they can pull money out of the productive people's pockets and taxes to pay for all their stuff, and I'll never forget, there was when Obama first got into the White House. And I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it Susan Rice or was it one of his women advisors or cronies? On a interview show, uttered the line, "We're ready to rule," and that sent chills down my spine. We're ready to rule. We don't elect these people to be rulers.
Yep.
You know, that's not their job. They're not there to rule, but they think they are.
And the media feels the same way.
Well, the media has
rule,
become.
Yeah.
They've just become an activist arm of the Democrats and the liberal media, and there's just nothing you can do about that. They make money doing it. They get political favors from these people. They want to be on their good side. There's no fixing this in a hurry, but that's another story for another day. Ron Lockwood, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Yeah, it's not. I hate to talk about politics all the time. What's that?
Moby 6.
Oh, you got one, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta take it outside. It's fun. Little thing. I can't believe how
Jody says, is King Trump a ruler? Jeez, Jody, you know better than that. The last guy in the world that thinks he's a ruler, even though they portray him as one, is Donald Trump. He doesn't. He wants to. He's as much a capitalist. He wants people to succeed on their own. He wants them to achieve. He wants to try to get the rulers out of their way, out of all the bureaucracy and the regulations and the rules and all that stuff. He wants to do away with that stuff. That's not what rulers do. Kim Jong-il is a ruler. But as long as the media is going to portray Trump the way he is, and you've got half of this country that still listens to them, there's like I said, there's no middle of the road. There's no in between. You've got people that as wildly they're idealistic in wildly opposite directions. Their minds are generally made up, and nobody's going to change anybody's mind until they discover it on their own. And it's very hard to discover truth when there's no place to find this truth, especially in the liberal media, when you've got YouTube censoring anything conservative or Google censoring anything. You put out a conservative thing on Google, it never gets recommended to anybody. Yet Yahoo News puts out some stupid story and it shows up in everybody's recommended list. There's no doubt. The slant is 90-10. I mean, and that's not even, that's, I'm not joking. It's probably worse than that. If you were to, and I showed you on my last show, I put up a bunch of CNN headlines that if you read them were obviously 100% slanted and lies and phony nonsense to boot. So everybody's going to believe what they're going to believe. I'm not going to change anybody's mind. I don't want to debate liberals. My sister is a wild liberal, and we have had to agree not to talk about it because she just gets mad and frustrated because she can't fault my logic when I talk to her, and so she just shuts down. That's it. She's, I'm done. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I have a client that I go to his house. I can't talk about Donald Trump because his wife flips out.
Well, you're in New York. What can I say? Ed, love my drones. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And who else? Ray Kelly's here. Hey, Ray. Good to see you. Yeah, the crowd's starting to come in. Good. So, yeah, any of you guys, Gary, you been flying at all?
I flew the other day. Took the Mavic Air up just for a flight, and spotted a tractor in a field and a sprayer, and just doing the local farmland stuff.
Did you
I
find
had a flight at the
wires?
park. My
find
girls
some-
were out walking the dogs, doing our daily dog walk, and I flew there, but forgot to
Find-
hit the record button.
Find some wires to hit?
I haven't hit any wires. No, I've been wireless. I've been completely
Oh.
wireless.
Roosevelt, thank you, my friend. A couple bucks, super chat, thank you. Appreciate it. I'd go buy coffee with it if I could get out of the house more often. But I haven't flown because of the stupid weather down here. This past, and Ed will tell you because Ed lives a couple hours north of me. Love my drones. That we've been getting one front after another every 3-4 days, and windy as hell in between. And hopefully that'll stop here pretty soon. Be able to get out and fly. I haven't been out in a month or more to
Yeah,
actually,
a lot of
other
windy.
than a couple little flights outside the house here, going out to the park. Yeah, it says it's been windy there as well.
Well, it's been so long since I flew. My batteries went into storage mode, so I flew 3 batteries and started out at 50% on each of them. So
Oh, you didn't you didn't charge them?
I just took them out and flew them off. Just ran the batteries down, put them on charge for the next time. So hopefully we'll get something going. I've got a big project coming up next week. I got a guy coming in to put a new septic field in. So I'm going to dig up my yard again.
Why don't you remember Mike Roche did a video of them redoing his driveway?
Yeah, and I'm going to do that. And
Yeah, I
got a deal with the septic guy too. He wants me to go and map the new jobs that he does. So
all
I'll be able
right.
to shoot down, and they'll be able to see exactly where their septic tank is and their field and all that stuff.
Make him a commercial,
Yeah.
and maybe you could trade some of what the septic tank's going to cost. Do a little
Well,
swapperoo there.
here's the thing: a septic bed in this part of the country costs you about $20,000 for an engineering survey, and then you got to do all the other stuff besides, right? Now, my buddy Earl down the way, he just does the whole thing for $3,000. So.
Hey, Dan, Drone Worship is here. Hey, we haven't been here in a long time, Dan. Good to see you. Thanks for the couple bucks. I appreciate that. Yes, sir, Dan. I'm becoming a RJU pilot devotee here, but I got to tell you, my friend, that is there's a lot to that. And the fixed wing I did with it was simple, but the helicopter with the mechanical rotor head setup and all that is a little more complicated. But no, it's coming. It's pretty neat. I'll maybe show a little of it off tonight if we get to that.
Mitch, are you going to fly this at all on your own? You
Fly
are, right?
what?
Helicopter? All
Of
that other
course.
stuff you're putting on is more for precautionary reasons? Is that
No,
the-
no, no. When you can fly it in a pass-through mode, but you don't. You would fly it if you wanted to just fly the thing.
Mhm.
You would fly it in acro mode, where the flight controller is still flying the thing. You're flying the flight controller. It's called fly-by-wire mode. They have a couple different ones: fly-by-wire A and fly-by-wire B. Even when you fly a drone with a flight controller, the flight controller is always controlling the PIDs, are always controlling the motor speeds, and the gyros are always looping, and it's just, it reacts differently to your stick inputs. When you're flying in a stabilized mode, you let go of the stick, it will
Right.
right itself. If you're in the acro mode and you tilt it over and let go of the stick, it will stay right there. But it will fight to stay where it was when you left it. In other words, it's not going to roll anymore when you stop. So when you stop rolling that stick, that angle, bank angle, locks in there. Same with pitch angle. Same thing with the helicopter. If I fly in an acro mode, I'll feel like I'm controlling it, just like you feel like you're controlling a quad, but you're really basically just flying by wire. You're commanding the flight controller to make the decision based on all the inputs of what they have in ArduPilot is something called either extended Kalman filter or EKF. It's something Kalman, Kalman filter, which is a very sophisticated algorithms that takes all the inputs from all the different sensors and decides what the best thing to do. And then they actually have redundant versions of this filter running at all times. So the stability of these things is supposed to be tremendous, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Rick Halbert, I say hi to you. If not, how you doing? Didn't see you. Dan is chatting it up in there. What does he say? An ArduCopter are more for advancements in robotics. When it comes to drones, it's a standalone autonomous setup. Yes, that's true. And it is complicated. But the good news about ArduPilot is that there is just a ton of documentation and forums out there. And the questions or the places where I got stumped a couple of times, I had no problem whatsoever finding an answer that actually worked. There are not a lot of YouTube videos, especially on the setup of a traditional helicopter. There are very, very few. There's a YouTube user whose name is ArduPilot, and he had one series, and I think he's with the organization, with some organization, but he had one series 2 years ago with 4 or 5 videos that walked you through setting up and ticked off most of the boxes, but still left a lot of questions to be answered, and that's what I've been doing. It's not something that I think lends itself to actually trying to do in a live stream like I thought I was going to do, because you end up spending an hour sitting there pulling whatever hair I got left out, trying to find an answer to some little question that and I've been working on it all week, but it's interesting, and the time flies, at least. Let's see. Ray Kelly flew his Phantom 4. That's great, but I don't think anybody's been doing a lot of flying, and I don't think anybody's been talking about much except the Mavic Air 2.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know. I got approval from the CFO to buy the thing, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
What do you have now?
I got a Mavic Air.
A Mavic Air. Okay, well for you
Yeah.
that'd be a hell of an upgrade, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was sort of my thing the other day was flying it, just see, like I can get I was 700 meters away. That's what, 2,500 feet more or less. And still
Yeah.
didn't have any picture breakup or anything like that. So,
You can go further than that, right?
Well, that's just Wi-Fi. This new
I
one has got
I can
OcuSync.
see farther than that.
No, I'm saying if you wanted, you actually could.
Yeah.
Yeah, legally you're not allowed to do it anyway,
Yeah.
unless you've got
Unless I got a spotter with a
a
radio.
spotter with a cell phone or something. I don't know
Yeah.
what the laws are in Canada, but
Yeah, that's what it is.
most of the guys who fly long range stuff don't worry about the law, and there aren't a lot of people running around enforcing it. And it's not like we got drone cops on every street corner.
Yeah.
It's only if some John Q. citizen decides that he's going to report you that you more or less have to deal with it. I
I
can't
found the
imagine
announcement to be a little bit disappointing. I was expecting sideways obstacle avoidance, right? I thought I'd still be able to use my iPad Mini. Now
I think I saw I didn't watch the video, Gary, but I just saw a video on YouTube that showed an iPad Mini sitting on top of the controller, and evidently they've come up with a way to use that now. Or
yeah,
something.
yeah. So another piece of kit that I got to carry along, right? So
Well, you gotta mount all this stuff. But,
well, I mean, the Mini fit in the controller of the Mavic Air, or the Spark, or the Mavic Mini, right? It just fits in the controller, no problem.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
because it's down on the bottom
Yeah.
where the handholds are. Yeah,
No
I
problem,
had
no factors,
I had a for a very short period of time I had a Mini 4, the iPad, and it for the Mavic 2, but it just really never worked out.
Yeah.
And I'm not an iPhone guy. I'm an Android guy, so
yeah.
I managed to let my son-in-law talk me out of it, and I got the Crystal Sky for it, which is kind of useless in a lot of respects for most everything except flying. It's a very expensive tablet that's got a lot of capabilities, but it's
Yeah.
pretty locked down operating system.
Well, and the other thing too is they got rid of the Go 4 app and went to Fly, so they've gone to a simpler app. I don't know. Is that a new learning curve for me? Nah.
I think you'll probably find it similar. I think that Go 4 app is just trying to handle too many different drones with different. It's just, I'm sure the code to that, it's got to be a nightmare by this
Yeah.
time, and it's probably just grown where they just didn't want to add yet another if statement to every line of code. If it's this drone, do this. If it's that drone, do that. If it's the other drone, do the other. Steve Carpenter, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And Stingray Aerial Solutions is here. Sup, everybody, he says. Good, glad to see
Oh,
you.
Mel's here. From
And Mel just popped in. Yeah, hi,
Yeah.
Mel. How
So
you
they
doing,
got
buddy?
rid of the way you
I
hook
said-
up the Mavic 2 to the controller and the phone. That's completely different now. Is that what I'm
The
understanding?
Mavic. No, you still just, it has just a little USB cable. They give you 3 different ones. They give you one with a lightning plug, with a USB-C, and a micro USB. So you got Android, the new phones, and you got your Apple stuff covered. But I don't know. I don't need it. But I'm impressed by it for the money. I think for the money, it looks like a nice drone, and DJI certainly does have a way with taking all the thunder away from virtually everybody else that makes drones when they come out with something new.
Yeah,
Don't they?
yeah. Well, the Skydio is for somebody who wants to take pictures of themselves and doesn't care about controlling it. The Autel Evo is double the price. Where do
And I haven't seen an awful lot about the I've seen one or two videos. Have they shipped any of those new Evos yet, or not?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I don't know.
I haven't seen, and of course the videos on the Mavic Air 2, they send them to all the the usual suspects.
Yeah.
This Tom's Tech Time, the guy, European guy, Tom's Tech Time. He's a big reviewer of DJI stuff. And in fact, he's kind of famous for his videos where he tries to destroy the drone.
I know who you're talking about.
He hover it and pours water on it, throws water on it. He flies them head on into trees, and it crashed. And that's kind of what he's kind of known for. And I watched part of his review of the Mavic Air 2, but I something interrupted me about halfway through and I didn't finish, so I never got to the bottom line of what he thought of it. But I'm sure, like every other DJI drone, it'll have some shortcomings that'll be fixed by the first 2 or 3 firmware updates, and then I think it's again, for the money now. It's what, $7.99 or $8.99?
$7.99 US, 988 US for the Fly More. Now it's way more.
Fly More is 3 batteries and a multi-charger of some sort.
Yeah, and the bag and
the
yeah.
multi-charger
Okay.
all at once or one at a time like the old one?
It says here, Russell says that the Evos are not shipping for 2 weeks, and the Mavic Air 2 will ship on May 7th. That's my birthday. So everybody who gets a Mavic 2, consider it a birthday present from me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, May the 7th.
Yeah.
It's funny. My mother told me a long time ago when I was a kid that in Philadelphia, during the months of March and April, before I was born, there was billboards all over the city of Philadelphia. Okay. And on the billboards were the words, "Remember the day, the 7th of May." That's all it said. It was one of these teaser campaigns, and these billboards were everywhere. "Remember the day, the 7th of May." And she got a kick out of that. They didn't know I was going to be born on May the 7th, but when I was born on May 7th, of course, everybody had seen those billboards, and
it was all about you.
How did they know? Turns out it was the Bulova Watch Company was presenting a new line of watches. And on the 7th of May, every one of those billboards had a Bulova Watch commercial on it.
Very nice.
It wasn't about you.
Wasn't about me, and that's the story of my life, Just wanted it to be a little bit about me, and nah. Who else we got here? We got
Mel, the Spark. I used to have the Spark, and that charger used to charge all 3 batteries at one time. The Mavic Air I had, and that you could put 4 on the charging, whatever you want to call it, but it would only charge 1 at a time.
Yeah. And what it does is it charges the one first with the most charge, so you can get back flying. And I don't know.
But the Spark was good because that one charged 3 at a time. I like that.
Oh,
There
he is, Steve Carpenter. He had to message me that he was sitting in the green room, and
slacking.
I should have seen his little head. You got to scroll down to get to the second row. Maybe if I made it wider, I'd get more rows. Yeah, there you go. Now you're in it. Yeah, but what happens here is just to show you, right up here. You see the four rows across. This is the window that the StreamYard's in. Yeah. Okay. And what happened was when I had it narrower like this, you see the third went away, and I had to actually go in there and scroll down to find you. See?
I know. That's why I figured I'd let you know. I remember from before.
Yeah, but I normally can see the top of it, and you can just about see the top of that there. So I'll make it, since I got some real estate on the screen. I wonder if it goes to 5. Well, I don't have 5 people, so we'll just
Yeah,
stretch it out.
it will.
Stretch it out. Oh, it will. Okay. Well, I like to keep it, since my camera is right. If you look at the arrow where I'm pointing, that's where my camera is. And I'm looking at this area here where you guys are, and if I get that underneath the camera, then I tend to be looking more towards the camera. That's all just professional broadcasting stuff that
See that?
that I know nothing about. You know. So how's
Good
everything
afternoon,
out there in the
gentlemen.
land of fruits and nuts, Steve? How you doing?
Oh, there's a lot of fruits and a lot of nuts and more nuts. We're still on extended shutdown, and they closed the beach. Now the governor
I
came
heard
in.
that. I heard
Governor
that. All
and
the
then shut the beaches down.
They don't want you to
Oh,
get
man.
better. They want you to stay inside and get sick.
Yeah, they don't want you. I don't think he wants it to get things going.
Oh,
And
no.
They come out
You hear about
unbelievable.
You hear about the $1 billion they invested in the electric car company that's going to be making masks for the state of California now. They're going to be supposedly producing 5 million masks a day. Mind you, they don't make masks. They're an electric car company that was going to make electric buses for the state, which never came around and they never did. And they were going bankrupt. So now our governor gives $1 billion,
Wow.
gave it to them. I mean, it's gone. They have it. And we have 0 masks.
And what do you need the mask for?
It's required. We can't go anywhere outside
can't go
now
out, huh?
to go into any store or any place and go in without a mask.
And California is not really that bad compared to some of these other states. And I
Oh,
was
no.
saying early in the stream that Florida, we're way down low, and I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
that it may be a lot of truth to the fact that sunlight, warm, humid weather actually does destroy this thing.
Didn't help us
the only
either.
thing holding this virus, and I mentioned this before, and you know this, a virus is not a living organism.
No.
No, it's a protein wrapped in a wrapper of a fatty kind of a substance, and that's why soap destroys them. It doesn't wash it away. It actually causes that wrapper that's holding the guts to just dissolve, and then there's no virus anymore.
Yeah.
And if the warm weather indeed does cause the outside skin of this virus molecule or protein molecule to indeed dissolve, then the guts just spill out everywhere, and you have nothing dangerous anymore.
Yeah, and the masks that they've got on here, it's like, okay, where do you get a mask? Now you put a handkerchief on or something like that. Okay, the only thing that's going to stop is somebody who goes out there and then chew and blowing it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it'll stop the water
purpose.
droplets. Yeah, it'll stop. The N95 masks are supposed to filter down to what are they? 0.3 microns? Is that the size of those virus particles? About 0.3
Yeah.
microns.
0.3,
Which-
0.2, something like that. It's really, really small.
Really, really small. I mean, you're approaching large molecule size, and a molecule like that comes up to an average piece of fabric, and it would be like one weave over here and one weave way over here, and
Yeah.
this tiny little thing just goes right through the middle. And the way the masks are supposed to catch the stuff is they have many of these layers, one over the
Sure.
top of the other, and trying to get through, but they still get through. They
Oh,
still
yeah.
get through.
I don't think so, Ed.
The purpose of a mask in the first place was for
Prevention.
surgeons, so that their moisture particles, when they're operating on somebody, do not fall into an open cavity of a body or the tissue or wherever they're operating on. That's the purpose of it. I mean, I finally got it. It took me, 3.5 weeks to get a shipment of masks. And where are they coming from?
China.
China. I got one, and it had China. It didn't even have. My son has a guy who's friend who's an importer, and he supposedly got a huge shipment of these masks coming. And my son said he's going to get me some. But in the meantime, he did have a couple of samples at his So he called my son up and he says, I can give you a half a dozen of these if you want. So my son ran over to this place, got a half a dozen of these masks, and immediately drove over, because he was in Melbourne, drove over to my house and gave me
Right,
one.
baby.
Gave me one mask, okay? And it was in cellophane, and it had all Chinese
Makes
writing.
vaping difficult.
Not an English, no English to be found anywhere on this thing.
The only thing that was English was the wrapper on the outside that said Amazon, not mine.
But I haven't seen any. And you know, when you got a beard like this, it's the masks are tough. They don't really
Horrible.
fit.
The whole thing is.
And I'm not shaving the beard off, not for any stupid mask. So I just got to stay away from.
Gary's in deep trouble over here.
Oh man,
I've been able to get it trimmed. You know, no barbers are open. I can't cut my hair.
I'm gonna get a hazmat suit. You know, the whole deal with the air bottle on the back and the white hood with the plastic.
There you go.
know, oh,
I saw one guy. He took his beard. He had a long beard. He pulled it up like that and put his glasses over it.
I saw that.
Oh, now that'd be
Yeah.
fun. That'd be funny. That'd
Yeah.
be great. That'd be super.
Oh, but one of the things I wanted to wanted to mention is out of that $1 billion that our governor shipped for this company to help them come out of bankruptcy and to make the mask, they're going to be charging us the low price of $5 a mask.
Wow.
for a 12-cent mask.
Wow. That's like 500%.
You know, back when there was no demand for
no.
these things,
Thousands per percent.
you could buy masks from China for 5 cents to 10 cents a piece in bulk. That was the goal right now. I don't know if these were designed for medical use or designed for craftsmen, you know, guys doing woodwork and stuff. But I know I used to buy N95 masks. They called them respirators. Now they weren't. You know, when you see a mask that's got that little plastic thing in the front, that's not going to work because that has a rubber flapper. That's designed to filter the air coming in, but not the air going out. So it's not going to protect anybody. If you're wearing one of those things, it's not going to protect somebody else from you, which is supposedly the reason they want everybody to wear masks, protect the other guy. But this respirator, you know, I used to when you do a lot of woodwork, you know, and you're sawing, making a lot of sawdust and crap, you want to wear one of these things so you don't gag on it. And I had one of those, and it's an N95, but it's useless because it's got the flapper thing on it.
Well,
Plus
you could
it's-
get the boxes, you know, they were by 3M at Home Depot and Lowe's. They were all N95 masks you used to be able to get before. And
Yeah, they were
we'd use
cheap.
them in construction, you know, for cleaning and any place you're in,
Yeah.
you know, a high dust area to protect your lungs.
Can't buy them now.
No, you can't. You can't.
Oh, you
find
can
it.
buy them. Did you hear about the one city back east? They ended up buying them from China, and the whole lot failed.
Yeah.
Ah,
The whole lot, the receivements of all the shipments they paid, and those were between $5 and $8 a mask. They had to pay for it,
oh wow.
and the whole lot is failing.
Yeah. Canada got 1 million masks that they sent back.
Do you all get the emails from Banggood? Every day I get 5 emails from Banggood in China, with masks. They want to sell me masks. Yeah, I mean I buy stuff from Banggood, but it's drone stuff. But they sell everything. They're like Amazon over there. They want to buy a refrigerator from Banggood. You know, they have everything. But they're pushing these masks, and they're about $5 a whack or more, which
I got these that
kinda-
are just the simple, you know, they're the pleated in the front, wrap around the ear, and they were 85 cents a piece. I got them for
Where'd you get them?
on Amazon.
Oh, really? They have them now?
They've had them for a while, but
No.
but when you were looking,
Yeah.
it'll say you click, and all I did is I kept on searching for what I wanted, just to get by. And I mean, I'm in the high risk category, if you want to call it that. Number one, I'm over 65. Number two, I'm a diabetic, so
okay.
a type 1 diabetic for 40 some years. So you know that diabetes eats at all your main organs. And all I did is I ordered the ones for the closest shipping date that met the criteria I wanted.
N95.
Oh no, you won't get N95. These aren't.
We have
Those are the
cotton
reusable
mouth masks.
Yeah, the
And
washable
we
ones.
have bestseller here has some kind of plastic thing.
Yeah, those are
Safety
the
face
ones that
shield.
the filter inserts inside the mask.
4 pieces safety face device face mask, $69 for those.
Gee.
Well, these look like 8 pieces face M, dust M, black cotton, $30.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I don't have the ears to support those things. I get the elastic around the ears, my ears flop forward, and off they come. You know.
Yeah.
These guys are all 3D printing these. They're calling them ear savers. Have you seen those?
No.
They're little plastic strips that go in the back, and they have little places to hook those things too, and it
Oh,
takes
yeah,
the load off your ears. Yeah, and they're called. And the guys are the 3D printing community is making them like crazy and giving them to the nurses in the hospitals because they got to wear them.
I got this one from Banggood. It came with a propeller on it, so I can breathe easier.
Cool.
It's self-ventilated. There you go.
Here's
Scalpel.
what you need. Here's a for $44.95 you can get one of these
Can't breathe in those things.
respirator looking things, you know. Face mask, top mask, 50 pack. Wonder where that's made.
Gary,
Oh,
did
here
you
we
see
go.
that?
This is what you need, this thing with the white hood.
Well, you know, those are available at Home Depot and at Lowe's. They're painting masks. They're the scarves that the painters put on before they go to paint.
Yeah.
So it's the eyes, and you can get them for like a couple bucks a piece.
Looks like
I got balaclava in the motorcycle. I could
Yeah,
put.
I was going to say, or whatever they call those. That works.
Yeah.
I know Mike Night Train was making some mask holders that you have to put the pad or the filter media inside.
Yeah, they slide in.
Well, you know what they say, if you're going to make a mask or a filter, those blue disposable shop towels are the way to go.
Oh, really?
Apparently, they have the same kind of filtering, almost the same kind of filtering as an N95.
Or those microfiber, you know the microfiber, the yellow orange ones.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
This one, here's what you're talking about. Prioritized for organizations on the front line. Anything
Yep.
that looks like the real deal. So much for Amazon. I wonder N95 mask. Let's see what Google has.
Good luck.
Shopping. COVID-19
Yeah.
alert. Product availability may be limited, and we're removing results with excessive price increases. That's everything. There's not a single thing.
We had a grocery chain was carrying Lysol wipes or disinfectant wipes at 3 times the normal price, and in the daily update from the premier, who would be like a governor, he called them out. He said, "This grocery store is gouging, so don't go there." Well, they quickly dropped the price.
Oh yeah. Well, here in the United States, technically, anything over 10% of a regular price, underneath a national emergency, which we're under now, you
Yeah.
can be charged with a felony. And the people where Mitch lives and where Jim Boyd live in Florida, you try jacking up the rates on motel rooms. You know, when the hurricanes hit to get
they're
out of one
coming
place.
after. Yeah.
They were nailing people like this. My cousin lives down there, so she was telling me the hotel they closed them down.
We've
They
got an
shut 'em
attorney.
down.
We've got an attorney general, Moody, her name is, and she's a
Yeah.
Republican, and she is on it. Like, I mean, they are not being kind to people that are taking advantage of people
Yeah,
at
they
this time. So.
shouldn't. They shouldn't.
Bill at Metro Drone said, "Is that a helicopter?" And I'm not going to pass up an excuse to talk about my helicopter. All I needed was an excuse, and thank you, Bill, for giving me one. So
I see Mr.
Mitch, can I just say one thing before you go
you
into
can
that?
say you can say anything. Stick around.
No, I will, but I was just going to say real quick that mount. Take a look at my post at Flight Path. That's what Mitch was talking about.
Okay.
Flight Path put out where he used his old original Mav mount and Polar Pro mount on the new controller for the Air 2.
Okay, that
Yeah.
was the video.
Except
That
I
was the
need
video
it
that I
for my
saw.
old-
Yeah.
For my old one. So now it's another piece of kit I got to tote around. Right?
Just trying to save Gary some money.
Yeah.
So you guys,
I don't lose any money, that's for sure.
so you guys remember, I made a big deal about being able to use this cell phone as a webcam. Remember that?
Right.
And then embarrassed myself because it kept crashing and it wouldn't work. You remember that?
Yep.
Didn't you have a screen where you couldn't get back on?
Yes. Well,
It
that was
closed.
because my computer. That was because my main monitor I was having a whole bunch of crazy technical issues. But what I found out about this particular thing, and I thought I'd share it with you because it's really a handy little deal. So I've got an older cell phone that is not my active one. But of course it's got Wi-Fi, and this thing works over Wi-Fi. Let me get it going here. The program itself is called IV Cam, IVCAM, and you download the Windows version from the esoft.com website, okay? Or you can just look up IVCAM on Google and you'll find it. And when you download and run the program, you get, I see, where's the window that you get this thing on your computer screen, and I'll show it to you here. You get this, and it says waiting for IV cam, and you get the big window. And then on your cell phone, you install the app, IV cam app, and you hit IV cam, and it connects to the computer, and then anything you do with the phone shows up on the computer. Well, one of the things that I went ahead and captured this as a video capture device into OBS, and I didn't realize that you can close this window, and it becomes a task on your taskbar that runs in the background. Okay, and when I couldn't get it to work, I kept opening up new versions of it, one on top of the other, without realizing the stupid software was already running in the background on my computer, and that's why it failed. But it's been doing pretty good. If I just have the one, you open it up, and then if you're capturing it, it stays open, and of course you can then go into your little thing down here on the bottom of your screen, and you'll find an icon for it in the taskbar. But it works really, really well. And then I can actually, in OBS, I can bring it into the active window. And then all you're going to see, of course, I had to have my monkey in the shot and the old guy face. So, but there's the camera, and there's you guys
Pretty crisp.
up there on the screen. Yeah, and it's pretty, and it's working over Wi-Fi, so I can wander all over the place with it. Now I don't have my wireless mic on now, but so what I was going to do now that I got this working again is recommend it again, because I recommended it. It's free, although I found that it's not really free. What it is it's free in high definition for the first week, and then you got to pay $10 if you want other than incredibly low resolution at about 5 frames a second. So I sprung for the $10 because it's why not? Somebody spent a lot of time and energy developing it, and it works pretty good, and it works on Wi-Fi. So if you are doing a live stream and you got a webcam going, somebody's in the Art's in the green room. Hi, Art. How are you, buddy? I'll get to you in a minute as soon as I finish talking about this. But I wanted to do this mainly because of the Sunday live streams about talking about the build. So I'll just give you a little shot of what this flight controller looks like installed on the helicopter here. And that's coming along pretty neat, and it's working, and it's got way on the front here, if you can see the antenna, that's the telemetry transmitter. And I can then take up here on top of my PC, I got the little telemetry receiver, and I can plug it into my USB port. And then I'm not, normally when you program flight controllers, you got to plug in a USB wire to them. Well, in this case, I don't have to plug it in anymore. Everything is communicated on the telemetry. So if you're out in the field flying, you can plug that little telemetry receiver right there into a tablet and run the Q ground control software. And that's as close to what DJI is doing, because you have complete control of the aircraft from the tablet, including slide here to take off, push this button to return to home. You could actually fly the helicopter from the tablet without a controller in your hand, without sticks, fully autonomously, using this telemetry link if you really wanted to. So that's the neat part about this ArduPilot stuff, is it has everything that DJI does and more, and it's just makes you appreciate what the programmers at DJI actually went through in all the programming that they had to do. So let me turn this off now. And another nice thing about this, on the cell phone here, I can here. Let me get you back over here so you can see what's happening in.
It's not on.
There it is, in this window up on the upper left. It has all kinds of little buttons on the screen, and one of the things is you can actually turn on the light, which is nice, to act as a little light for your video that you're shooting. See, use the built-in light on the phone as a little movie light. And we'll get out of that and shut off the phone. And that's enough. That's enough of that.
That's for PC, not for Mac. Right?
No, it won't run on a Mac. It's for PC. So without further ado, let me get back to where we have equality, and there he is, frozen in time. You can move now, Art. There you go.
Good
How are you,
afternoon,
buddy?
Mr. Carlson.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Great to be here. Busy day. I got a fishing rod from Rick Halber, and I got to use it today, and I almost lost it.
Oh no, not on your neighbor's roof, I hope.
Wrong fish?
No, I had the rod and the reel all set up. I had the bait out in the water. I was busy getting the other rod ready, and all of a sudden my pole started going towards the lake. And I go, whoop! And I stepped on it, and I stopped it and grabbed it, and the fish broke the hook off the line. Evidently, I didn't tie it very good, and it just snapped right off.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. But I did catch a carp later on. I caught a 24-inch carp that weighed 7 1/4 pounds.
Wow, good size.
Wow.
So I didn't get skunked. I had been hearing reports that people were catching carp up to 20 pounds out of this lake.
So what are you going to do with this carp? You going to eat it?
No, I let it go.
Oh,
Took some
okay.
pictures. Well, it's going to be. I've got video of it, and I will edit and post it on my fishing channel.
Yeah, Gary's got the duck.
Oh, he's got the duck. Okay.
You got the duck, I got the monkey. So, what was that I heard?
It wasn't me.
Oh, it's Carlos and his.
my notification.
I mean, I could do this and get you away from the duck, but then
Oh, there we go.
you know, then we're all skinny. I guess I could do that.
Oh,
And
no,
then
no, let me have the duck back. I need the
you want
company.
the duck back? Yeah, I think you know, of course, I lose the monkey when I do this. It goes off to the side there, but what are you gonna do?
Well, there were plenty of ducks where I was
Move this
fishing.
way, I can pet the duck.
Pet the
Yeah.
duck. Yeah, you keep, you know, feed the duck, will you, while you're up there?
I wasn't going back to work, Art.
Well, I went back to work Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday they sent us home early because one of our coworkers who had been working on Monday and Tuesday, well, actually he worked on Monday. Turns out he tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh, really?
So everybody got sent home early on Wednesday actually. So he had been working there Monday and Tuesday, and so we're off the rest of the weekend. From what I understand, they're going to reopen on Monday, but I'm on vacation Monday. I already had it scheduled, so I'm going up to South Dakota to hang out with Ron Lockwood. Do
Oh,
some
there you go.
drone
Oh,
flying.
that's cool. You gonna ride your Harley up there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I got my Harley trike like Spike.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'd pay to. I'd give money to see that. You know.
Ever ride a
My bike's
motorcycle?
still in the garage. I haven't got it out yet.
Any kind of electric motorcycle or anything? Gas-powered motorcycle in your life?
I've been on ATC, which is a three-wheeler.
Right.
And those things will go fast. They'll get up to 50 miles an hour if you.
Yeah.
Because that was the big one, because they made them in different sizes, and this friend of mine, he had the biggest one out there. That I think Honda made this one.
Three-wheelers tipped over easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I tried one of those three-wheelers. You know, the little off-road things.
yeah.
They're not safe. I
No.
don't think.
No.
Four-wheelers better.
Give me
And-
two wheels. I like motorcycles with two wheels where you can lean into the turns. You know,
Yeah.
these trikes, they don't. You know,
Yeah.
you don't lean on them. You just get thrown sideways when you turn.
Yeah. Well, and with the ATCs, the four-wheelers, you gotta watch out. They'll flip over backwards on you.
A lot of people get hurt on those things. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well,
how.
you ride forward.
Yeah.
I did motorcycles for 3 summers here in New York, and I said, you know what? I'm lucky. I haven't gotten hit, and I haven't fallen. I'm going to call it a day. And that was it. I got my
You know,
Midwest-
I have a motorcycle sitting
Me too.
outside. I ride it. You know, at least once a month, I'll take it out just to run it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I don't feel comfortable. I've ridden them all my life, and I just with all these distracted drivers and kids on cell phones, I just scares the shit out of me. I don't want to.
So you have to drive. You have to ride like you're invisible because nobody.
always heard that when I first started.
Yeah.
But and yet I say to myself, well, you know, why don't I sell it? And I just can't. I don't want to not have. I've always had a motorcycle. I don't want to not have a motorcycle for some stupid reason. Don't ask me why. Holding on to my youth, which is
Yeah. There you go.
disappearing fast behind me in the rear view.
That's the nice thing about the Mavic Air. I can throw that bag with all the stuff in it in the saddlebag and jump on the motorcycle, and I'm gone. Right?
Yeah, I've got big saddlebags on this thing. I could put a whole bunch of FPV drones in the saddlebags and go out and fly. And that's why I originally, when I put my order in for the Skydio 2, that was the only reason I thought it might be cool to have, would be to follow me on my motorcycle.
There you go.
And then I decided that I didn't need the Skydio 2 for that kind of money just to follow me on a motorcycle I hardly ever rode.
I've never tried it. I've never used those autonomous modes. You know.
Well, they will follow you.
Gary,
Spike, when he first started, he made some really cool videos with the drone and the motorcycle, but I haven't seen him do much of that lately.
like the filmmaker.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, he tried it on that live broadcast he was on. But the problem is he didn't get cell signal up there,
Yeah, he couldn't
so
get
it
the
kept on
service.
dropping.
well, I watched him a little bit last night. He's entertaining. Carlos, you were in there last night for a little while. I
Yeah,
saw you in the chat. Yeah, I and he comes on and I'll just turn it on and he plays. It's like a radio station.
Yeah.
He plays music and it's entertaining.
Question for you. You've never flown your Mavic Air with your hand? You never tried that stunt where you put your hand in front of it, you go up and you go down, left and right?
No,
Not
I
even
don't
the-
have a Mavic Air. I have.
No,
I
I,
get-
Gary,
Or the picture mode.
yeah. All that. I did it just to see if it worked. It did.
did it?
Yeah.
Hey, Bob Casey's here. Hey, Bob, how you doing, buddy?
And then they have
Thanks for
the,
coming in.
what do they call the one where it goes up and it gives you the effect that it's going
Asteroid.
Asteroid. That's a pretty cool one.
Well, I used that once in Niagara on the Lake, and I played it backwards and forwards in the video I did. I started out going backwards, so it was at me going up, and then to finish it was up coming back to me. So,
You know, as long as I've had all these Mavics, Mavic Pro and the Mavic 2s, I have never done any of that. One time
yeah.
I did a droney, the quick
Yeah.
shot. And it was cool because it did the thing and it flew up there and then it came right back to where it started.
Yeah.
Sat there, wait for you. And I said, well, that's cool. And that was the end of that. I never used any of those modes that point of interest modes or
I used the follow me. I used the follow me one time. I had the drone instructor here doing the exam, and I had Paul Hodges with me. He was doing his exam at the same time from Phantom Hodges drone, and I drew the little box around him, and he ran out in the field and back. And that's the first time the instructor had ever seen it. That's the first time I'd ever used it. I was kind of impressed that it worked. But he could, as fast as he ran, he couldn't get away from it. So.
Oh yeah, and in some respects, it's a little scary
Yeah.
when you watch movies like The Terminator,
Yeah.
or these movies where the robots lock onto you and you can't get away,
Yeah.
and it makes you think if this stupid little drone can recognize you, lock onto you, and you can't hide from it. That's a scary thought. It scares me about what's coming.
Yeah.
Mitch, I'm going to have to excuse myself. I've got to take a phone call. Thank you for allowing me in,
Hey,
guys.
Steve. Oh, anytime,
I gotta
my
run.
friend. Thanks for coming.
Steve again, Steve.
I'll try to get back on if I can. Take care.
Okay.
Take care,
All
everybody in
right,
the
buddy.
chat.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Boom. Now we're big.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys hear about the
No, Carlos has the duck.
yeah,
Carlos got the duck, but he's got room for the duck there. He's in his
Look after
widescreen.
my duck.
Did you guys hear about the cult that sprang up out of this pandemic in Texas?
The what that sprung up?
A cult, a religious cult
Oh, cult. Yeah.
during this pandemic in Texas. It's called the Branch Covidians.
Oh, bye, Art. I had enough of that.
A new terrorist group in Italy.
That's terrible, Art.
A new terrorist
Terrible.
And you've heard
Don't tell bad jokes here. Everybody will think they're watching the Ken Herron show.
Presbyterians?
I'm sure Art heard this one. The new terrorist group in Italy called Italian ISIS.
Oh.
And you've heard
All
about
right, time out. Time
you've
out.
heard of the Presbyterians. The Presbyterians believe when you die, your soul goes up on the roof and won't come back down. Like a frisbee.
I
All
don't,
right.
I don't know.
Arch-
I don't, you know, the whole world is upside down right now, and
Yep,
you know,
it
who
sure
the
is.
world knows
Hmm.
what the future is going. I'm glad, in a way, I'm glad I'm not 20 years old right now.
Yeah, really.
I mean, what a, you know, I mean, what we had when I was growing up, we had a lot of turmoil too.
Yeah.
We had the Vietnam War and all the protesting that went with that, and
You guys
I
were
just,
known for it. No,
you know, there was unrest, riots, race riots. We had all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff, but nothing
Hmm.
seemed as disruptive to normal life as what's going on in the past. Not just with the COVID, but in the past few years with all the political stuff. It's just it's
Yeah.
crazy, you know. And I think one of the bad things is this. You know, remember the old days? You had 3 TV stations,
Yep.
and the news came on once a day at 6 o'clock for an hour,
And 11.
and after that, you were done with the news, and you watched Bonanza and Beat the Clock and all the other shows. And now news has become entertainment. It wasn't entertainment. It used to just be news. And now that news is entertainment, it's 24 hours. And the news cycle is every 15 minutes now. And I think that with the internet, with all the social media and everything, the transaction, the information deluge that we're exposed to every day is more than we're designed to handle. And I think the stress it creates is just destructive as hell.
You ever
But what do
notice-
you do about it? It is what it is.
person on the news, and then they have caption of what the person is talking about. Then underneath that, they have the stock market. Then underneath that, the show that's going to be next week. It's like,
Oh yeah, and not only that, but CNN has got the death count up on the sidebar.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, oh yeah, number of cases, and I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy. What?
Yep.
Why? You know why? Mike Roche is here. Hey, Mike,
Roche,
how you doing, buddy? Good
Well, you
to
know what?
see you.
There's no sports on TV, so they got to have a score for something, right?
I guess, but how morbid? How morbid? Bill is right. Fake news is right. It's not even. You know, fake news
at least they're saying.
kind of says that it's news. It's not even news anymore. It's 100% nothing but political activism.
Yep.
You know,
Hmm.
I
And something to attract.
and you can't and you know, what are you going to do? The way we got this country set up is the press, the freedom of the press is supposed to be so absolute and ingrained that they feel like they're untouchable, that they can do anything and nobody can do anything about it, no matter how much damage they or havoc they wreak with all that propaganda they're putting out.
Hmm.
And one of these days, I think somebody's going to figure out a way to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Right now, the only way to hold them accountable is turn them off.
Yep. Hmm.
You know the old saying, vote with your feet, which is the only power we basically have in this world as individuals. Is if you don't love it, leave it. You know.
Yep. Hey, Mitch, can I show the picture of my fish I caught?
Sure.
Oh, righty, we're
Sure, Art. We'll make you. Are you going to put it in are you going to share a screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else is happening, Mitch? Is a lot of people are suing different companies, Disney for closing and travel agents for not, and that's another thing that's just getting.
Oh, the lawyers are gonna. Are you kidding? These, you know, the TV, the lawyer commercials. Whoa! Look at
Yeah.
that.
Ooh, carp.
Holy
Yep,
cow.
that's what I caught today.
And you threw them back in afterwards?
Yep. 24 inches long,
Wow.
7 1/4 pounds.
Wow.
Using
Cool.
the rod that I got from Rick Halber.
There you go.
Yep. Hmm. Oh, and I got it.
I can make it bigger.
Yeah, make it bigger. There you
Sure.
go.
That's what she said.
Oh,
But
But I don't have a rim shot on my sound effects. I got applause.
and then I got let's see if I could Yeah,
Carpe diem, fish of the day. Yeah,
there you go.
Carpe diem. Yeah,
And this-
that was in the comments on the Facebook.
that's great. Who said that?
I think it was Fred Bessier. And
That's
this
funny.
is the lake
Carpe
that I
diem.
fished at. And there's
Yeah.
the mountains.
Barrow
in the
Boy Woods
background.
is here. How you doing?
Mike Roche wants to know how you caught that with a pair of pliers.
How did I? What?
Mike Roche says you caught that with a pair of pliers.
No, that's the fish strip to hold the fish up.
What are we looking at? What are we looking at now, Art? It looks
This
like a
is
lake.
The lake where I fished.
Ah.
There's the mountains in the background, and I mean it was a gorgeous day today. Yep.
Cool.
You should
Are
be
we done?
flying instead of fishing.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
You got anything else you wanted to show?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I had a size 8 hook with I used corn for bait.
You used what for bait?
Corn.
Got it.
Corn.
First time I heard that.
CORN.
That must be wild because there's no natural way in hell a fish would ever stumble on corn as a food source.
Well, I
Maybe
think
color
it's the sweet.
Of course,
aroma.
it's sugar. It's pure sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what attracts. And
That's why bread they use dough balls
they
will attract
use
because that's
dough.
pure sugar too.
Yep. Hmm. Yep.
But next thing you know, we're going to have a whole bunch of really fat fish because everybody's feeding them all this corn. Wow, you heard the expression "corn fed." You know
Yep.
what that means? Yeah,
Yep.
that's how they fatten up cattle.
Yep.
And that's how they fatten up human beings too. Feed them corn in
I-
all varieties: popcorn, corn chips,
Yep. I've
Tostitos.
dated a few of those gals.
Yeah,
No,
corn sugar, corn syrup.
Yep.
the ethanol they put in gas is from corn, I think, right?
well,
Yeah,
corn is
yeah.
not a great. I've
Yeah.
done a lot of been on a lot of diets in my life and studied a lot about it, and I'd come to the conclusion that corn is just not a
Sure.
good food for human beings. It's just, it's pure energy. That's all it is. It's pure sugar, pure energy. Now, if you're starving to death, corn is okay because at least it'll keep you alive. But as far
Yep.
as a
Well,
food to
it's
be
what-
healthy, it's not a good fit for humans, and
Really?
it's not a good fit for cows either. But it's great to fatten them up before we slaughter them.
Yep.
Nice.
And I've often said that if we didn't slaughter them, they'd become diabetic cows
Uh,
from sugar, just way too much sugar. That's my diet advice.
Very.
Stay away from corn. And just because, and like popcorn, everybody thinks it's a diet food. It's the most fattening thing on the planet. And second only to, there's one other food that is probably more fattening than dry popcorn. And that's a rice cake. You know, the
yeah.
round rice cakes.
Yeah.
And that's the food that these idiots recommend to people to eat when they want to lose weight.
Uh-huh.
Eat rice cakes. Well, it's pure sugar. You may as well sit with a sugar bowl and just eat sugar. And the worst part about it is it's dry. And
Well,
the one
thing
way
is-
that you,
The
yeah,
thing is, if you eat that and that's all you eat, you'll get sick of eating it. You won't eat anything.
I don't know if you're a sugar addict or a carb addict,
Yeah.
you don't get sick of that stuff. But the way to make it less fattening, believe it or not, is to actually put fat on it. I know that sounds counterintuitive. But if you were going to eat a rice cake, the best thing you could do would be to slather butter all over it.
Oh, there you go.
If you're going to eat ice cream, the best ice cream to eat would be the highest fat ice cream you could find, Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's,
Yeah.
not the low-fat stuff, because it's been proven that when they take the fat out of things, all you have left is the sugar.
Yeah.
And what happens is the fat, it turns out, slows down the digestion in animals. So when you eat fat as well as the sugar, you don't digest it as fast. So you don't get as much of a blood sugar jolt. You don't get as much insulin dumped into your bloodstream. You don't gain as much weight. So that's where the concept of a balanced meal comes from. Eat a certain amount of fat, a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of carbohydrate, and you're much better off. Plus, the fat has the added benefit of satisfying your appetite, which pure sugar never does. You ever sit down with something that's pure carbohydrates and start eating it? You can't stop. You eat it till it's gone. Bowl of pasta, stuff like that. But if you sit down at something that has a lot of fat in it, like nuts or a steak, you eat so much of it, pretty soon you say, I had enough of that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't make this stuff up. This stuff I learned from a number of books written by a guy named Barry Sears, Dr. Barry Sears. And Barry Sears is the guy who wrote the book The Zone Diet. You've all heard of the Zone Diet.
Nope.
And no, you never heard of the Zone. You ever hear of something called a glycemic index?
That I heard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
His work it was responsible for the concept of some carbohydrates are more fattening than others. Some carbohydrates metabolize faster than others, and that's where and they also, he's the one that I believe is responsible for doing the tests where they actually took a bunch of people and hooked them up to constant glucose monitoring in their blood. They sat them down, they hooked them up to a blood drip, and they constantly, you know how a diabetic measures his glucose, blood glucose. Well, they did a constant monitoring of glucose levels. Then they started feeding people things. And they discovered that certain things cause the blood sugar to scream up much faster than others. And they also discovered that if they combined fat with this sugar, that the blood sugar didn't increase nearly as fast. It rose more gradually and slowly, which is much more healthy. And they're great books, and there's a lot of good reading on that advice out there. And if you just Google glycemic index, you'll find it all. And I've found that if you go out of your way to, and I've talked about this before, if you go out of your way to eat more fat, you'll actually lose weight. Fat is not what makes you fat. Sugar makes you fat.
Yeah.
Fat's the opposite. So anyway, that's my advice. Go out there and eat peanut butter's got sugar in it. If you find natural peanut butter, it's all right. But just eat a stick of butter tonight, you know.
Yep.
Ray Kelly finally had New York pizza. Yeah, I love pizza too, but
Yeah.
I can gain weight. I gain weight so easy if I start eating that stuff. Always have. It's a battle.
What do you weigh? About 150 pounds, 140 pounds, Rich?
Me, 165.
Really?
I'm 5'10".
Oh, that's
5'10". Yeah.
I'm
But
good.
I've been over 200 pounds in my lifetime.
Mm.
And I mean all my life I was heavy as a kid and always dieting, always and tried every diet known to man. And I was on the Atkins train when he first came out, and that's where I learned all about the differences in the way carbohydrates and protein and fat actually are handled by the human body. And I learned the most important thing I ever learned is that calories don't mean anything. A calorie, they always say calories in, calorie out, is nonsense. It's a lie, it's a fraud, it's a phony. Because a calorie is the measure of heat released when something is burned, okay? And we don't have fires in our stomach that burn things to release energy. The energy that we release is released chemically. And the number of calories is irrelevant when it comes to how the human body digests food. Fat, for example, only 10% of the, quote, calories in fat can actually be turned into energy by the human body. You could starve to death if all you ate was fat.
Wow.
Yeah, only
Yeah.
10%. So if you eat 100 calories of fat, 10% of that will eventually become blood sugar. If you eat 100 calories of carbohydrates, 95% of that will eventually become blood sugar. That means that carbohydrates are 9.5 times as fattening as fat is, and protein is right in the middle, about 45-50%. And that's why you should eat balanced meals, and you should try to eat fat. Now then, there's always the controversy about what's good fats and what's bad fats, and
Just eat everything.
but animal fats, bacon and eggs. Turns out that after all the dust settled, some of the healthiest food you can eat is bacon and eggs.
Good.
Seriously,
Yep.
I like
bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs. Yeah. Got it. Eggs, good for, and yet they almost put the egg business out of business with this phony cholesterol.
Yeah.
You talk about fake news. The diet advice is still out there. That stuff, once it gets out there and once it becomes quote conventional wisdom, takes generations for it to go away. They know now that government diet advice is all wrong. And there's a movie. I've talked about this before. There's a couple of great movies out there, documentary type movies on
Soylent
on Amazon.
Well, let's talk about food. I'm going to have to bow out. I think we're.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry I made you hungry.
All right.
Have some bacon and eggs, man.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Mitch.
Canadians.
Everybody.
It's a pleasure having you, man.
It's always a pleasure. A pleasure. All right,
A pleasure. Yeah. Thanks for coming in, Gary. Good to see you,
Yes.
man.
Have
Don't
a
be
great
stranger.
day. Stay safe.
All right. Take care. And he's out of here. Okay.
Yeah.
I need a goodbye song like Ken has. Basically, don't let the screen door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah, there you go.
Mike Roche said he was 5'11" and 140 pounds. Man, you were a skinny kid. Rick Albert, more fat the better. Yes, sir.
Mitch, my dad was about the same height as you. He was 5'10".
Really?
But he
5'10",
was
yeah.
a skinny guy. I don't think he got over 140.
Wow, that's really thin for
Yeah, he was always thin. And, well, during World War II, he lost a lot of weight because, well, the food was so crappy over there.
Oh,
And that,
well, we're all putting on what we're calling COVID pounds here. That's my son and I were talking about that. Corona belly, we're calling it.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? You sit around the house and either eat or smoke cigars. What else I got to do? That's why I'm trying to play with this helicopter. Keep me
join
busy.
the branch Covidians.
No. Don't make me click this button again. Oh man. So who is conspicuous by their absence here tonight?
Yeah, where's Mike? Mike Roach, come on in.
Mike's here. Well, you know who hasn't shown up in one of my live streams for a long time, even in the chat, is Lloyd.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Lloyd doesn't like me anymore. I go to his live streams, but he I can't remember the last time I actually saw him in the chat.
Yeah, he doesn't come to my shows either. Other than
and that
Sunday
the
show.
one that you have with him, and of course we were on we were over at Coast to Coast Bill Thomas's stream last night.
Yeah.
I don't see Bill here, but I wanted to thank him. I saw John here a little bit, but I haven't seen him back in a while. But I wanted to thank. He was doing this
Shout
channel
out.
spotlight, shout out show, and I put my thing in. He had a lot of nice things to say about me, and I appreciated that. I blushed. I was all red, oh shucks, kind of. Timeless Truth said 10,000. Oh, what does that say? 5'10", 179. That's your size and weight. I get you. Okay. Lloyd is too busy with the campaign. Yes, Stingray. I don't know about that.
Yeah, he's probably doing that whistle stop tour. Getting the Grump Force 1 ready.
Grump Force 1, yeah. And then I was on. I went on Tuesday night. I said I wasn't going to go on a lot of these live streams, but the guys were talking about stuff I was really interested in. So I hung out with Ed, Love My Drones. He was building a drone, and I went on there, and His first live, he went for 11 hours.
Wow. Yeah, I think
The
I
first,
bumped
the
into
first
that.
episode. Carlos, you were there with that, weren't you? You went for like
Yeah.
that first one. I mean, 11 hours, and then I chimed in on the second one.
That was a lot of sitting on my feet.
Oh, alcohol. Yeah, Mike, you're right about that. Yeah, and then I went on, and then Jim Boyd had his thing on Tuesday night,
Yep.
and I jumped in. I was bored. So I jumped in. I jumped into that one, and the stream ended. Art, were you in that one too? Who else was there? Was three of us left. It was me, Jim, and somebody when the stream ended. And he ended the stream, and we were still in the stream yards, but nobody was brought. No, it wasn't going out live.
Oh, okay.
Not like when you did it, you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Art said, "Okay, I ended the stream," and Art and I are talking, and then somebody in the chat says, "You know, you guys are still on."
Yeah.
But no, he ended the stream, and we just sat there, shot the bull for an hour, and it got to be after. It was getting to be like after 11 o'clock at night already here. And I finally said, gotta go. But
Yeah.
so it from a live stream, of course, once you're not broadcasting anymore, the StreamYard's windows still stay open, and you can talk before you go live, and you can talk after you go live. So it becomes kind of a nice another version of Skype, where
Right.
you can kind of have a meeting. Render a video, Mitch. We'll be on soon. Above. Oh, Jim is here. Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Jim.
Cool, Jim. Yeah. Oh, and Rick. Try again. Rick is here too.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, Rick. How you doing, buddy?
All right.
Good to see
Hey,
you.
Rick, did you see the picture of the fish that I caught with your
Yeah,
rod?
it was a beauty.
Yeah. I almost lost that rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it all set up, bait out in the water. I was getting another rod ready to go, and all of a sudden the pole started going out towards the lake. And I go, whoa, stepped on it and stopped it from going into the water and picked it up. But the line broke.
Ah,
It broke off right at the hook. I guess I didn't tie it tight enough or correctly because, well, it was the first time I used braided line.
right. That doesn't hold up, tie a knot real well.
Yeah, yeah, you really
Gotta really get on it.
yeah. Oh, it's hard to cut too. I found out. Pair of pliers will not do it.
Really?
Because it's all braided. It'll just all it does is it braids it up and even with a knife, that's really hard to do. So I think what I need are like really small scissors and cut it that way.
Yeah, it's not good for the eyes either. The eyes on the pole,
Uh-huh.
it starts wearing the Teflon off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't bury the pole into the sand or whatever to keep it.
Well, with my crutches, I sit on a 5-gallon bucket and I have my crutches set up along the side where I can stick the poles in, and it's like a natural rod.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
congratulations! You got your first fish with it.
yeah,
Hey.
it's all broken in. I caught a fish with it. And I'm going to take it with me when I go down to Mitch's place next month. And okay.
I still think you're being a little ambitious here, Art. I
Maybe
don't think next month they're going to be traveling yet.
Mitch, can I ask you a question? If I was to drive to Florida, would they make me quarantine for 2 weeks?
I don't know what they're doing at the border, but I know that they were stopping everybody
Right.
Yeah, they were.
coming in because they were trying to keep the New Yorkers out because the New Yorkers were coming down here and bringing all that crap with them, and so they I don't know what the deal is, but I know that in a month from now we're not going to be much better off than we are now as far as things being closed and traveling and the risk of traveling. So
Right.
Yeah.
I want to go visit my son, but I want to drive this time instead of fly.
yeah, but we'll talk about it, Art.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing against you, but
Right.
as the way things stand right now, I'm not ready to have a visitor
No, okay.
until this stuff is over a
Okay.
lot more than it is now.
All right.
I just, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get it. I think I may have gotten it, but I'm 73 years old, and
Yeah.
I have to, I'm going to
Yeah,
be taking
that's true.
more care than a lot than average
You can't
younger
take a
people are going to
chance.
take.
Nature's
Yeah.
going to live forever. He's going to be a 90-year-old.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I can get just as sick as anybody else. I mean, this just because I've been lucky doesn't mean I'm Superman. I had the Asian flu in the 60s when I was in the army. It damn near killed me. So I know what that's like.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was unconscious for 24 hours. I was in Germany. I got it over there, and I mean,
Hey,
I managed to make it to the infirmary, and I woke up the next day. I don't know what happened, but
Wow.
it was bad. It took me a month to get over it too. You know how you get these when you get these flu bugs? Sometimes they hang on, and you don't feel right for a month or more.
Right.
And, I don't know, but
Chris Hope wrote. Really?
what really old guy in a drone. Yeah, well, I mean, officially, I'm still 72, so I can still claim I'm 72. But unfortunately, next Thursday, I can't do that anymore.
Right. There
And
you-
next Thursday, my Thursday night live stream falls on my birthday, so
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have it's gonna be a
We'll all wear party hats and
I'll wear a party hat. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have a much better class of food in the green room instead of just donuts. I'm
Yeah.
going to have caviar and some
okay.
crab claws,
Instead
little
of the
lobster. Yeah, we're going to do it up right. It's my birthday.
instead of the usual gefilte fish and matzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like gefilte fish.
Do you
And
really?
gefilte, yeah,
like
gefilte. Believe it or not, gefilte fish is carp. A lot of
Yep.
carp in, yeah,
Mhm.
and that's what my old relatives they call it. Some people might call it comfort food, but the old cooking, the old European it was their way of taking the crappiest
Yeah.
food, the worst cuts of meat, the garbage, and turning it into something that really was good. And they were very ingenious with some of these recipes. And even today, who the hell would ever eat? Who the hell would want brisket, for example?
Yeah.
Brisket of beef.
Brisket. Yeah, it's the most ridiculous cut of meat,
Mhm.
unless you cook it a certain way.
Right.
But you take a piece of brisket and cook it like a steak, for example. You can't eat it.
Yeah.
It's all fat and gristle, But you slow cook it for 24 hours at a barbecue.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
what the Jewish people would do is they had made corned beef out of it. They
Mhm.
made pastrami out of it. They pickled it in brine for long periods of time and made great food. Well, that's what gefilte fish was.
Yep.
It was every garbage fish they could find,
Yeah.
chopped up with certain spices and made into something that looked like a hamburger patty.
Yep.
And they had a gelatin kind of a broth
Mhm.
that went with it. And I love this stuff. You just can't find it. But
Really?
my grandmother used to make that stuff. It was
I think
fabulous.
gefilte fish. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, gefilte fish.
Mm-hmm.
And that
You
was
know, I can get that easy here.
that Jackie Chan movie with Chris Tucker. What was the one where
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour,
Yeah.
where they were coming back on the airplane at the end, and it was during the end credits, and Chris Tucker was trying to say gefilte fish. Remember? I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And he couldn't say it. He couldn't say it right. He'd say, go for fish," and then the prompter would go, "Gefilte fish," and he'd do it again, and she wrong, and she'd go, "Gefilte fish." It went on for about 5 or 10 tries, and I was rolling on the floor. I thought that was funny.
When my sister was a little girl, she was about 5 years old with my dad, and they saw this guy caught caught a carp, and my sister said, "Daddy, what kind of fish is that?" And the guy that caught it said, "Young lady, that's a Jewish carp or a Jewish trout."
Jewish trout. Hey, Chris Hope, if you're still here, I see you say good night. Good night, buddy. Take care.
Good night, Chris.
See you later, Chris.
Potato latte,
Yeah.
apple
Yeah.
sauce.
A Jewish carp, huh?
Jewish trout, yeah.
Jewish trout. Yeah.
Did you eat lox with cream cheese, Mitch?
Do I what?
Did you partake in lox with cream cheese? Nova Scotia lox with cream cheese?
Oh, I still eat lox. I love it. Smoked salmon. It's expensive.
Oh.
I buy it at Sam's Club. They sell it in a
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I know what you're
pack, 1 pound for like $14. But
Yeah.
I'm not a cream cheese eater. I'm the only Jew on the planet Earth that doesn't eat cream cheese.
Wow. Everything bagel,
And-
cream cheese,
And
and
bagels. The problem is bagels are very fat. I love.
Oh, yeah.
You give me a real New York bagel, like an everything bagel with all the stuff on it, the salt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I used to, in my heyday of getting fat, and because I am addicted to that. Once I get started, I can't stop. I mean, I admit it. In fact, it isn't until I give up carbs almost completely and start getting myself used to eating protein and fat again, and vegetables and very low sugars. It takes me that long to lose my cravings for the and I'm like an addict. I'll get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and find myself in the car on the way to get ice cream,
really?
without. Oh yeah, I'm like a drug addict when it comes to that stuff. So I have to not do it. But I used to go when I lived in Orlando. We had some of these New York bagel places, the real legitimate ones, where they made the real water bagels. Just like they're chewy bagels like you get in New York. Oh,
Yeah.
I used to go in there and I'd buy a bag. I buy a half a dozen of them. These big bagels, these things are huge.
Yeah.
I buy a half a dozen of them.
It's big. Yeah.
And I eat them in the car before I eat them all before I get home. I bought them to take home with me, but once I start eating them, they don't satisfy your hunger, and they're just so good. And I'm like
Yeah.
a cocaine addict with that stuff. In
Yeah.
fact, they say that sugar is more addictive than cocaine,
Sure, it's up there.
and it's evidenced by the fact that if you look around, not only are the people in this country becoming very unhealthy and diabetic because of the sugar intake, but you go into go into a 7-Eleven, for example,
Hmm.
and try to find some real food. They have a little bit. You can find some fruit maybe, but everything in there is in a cellophane bag junk food or in the candy aisle
Yep.
or pastry or baked or Coke or sugar. It's all sugar. It's absolutely incredible.
Energy drink.
And it's addictive.
Gatorade.
And they know that. It's like the tobacco companies with the nicotine in cigarettes. They know people are going to get addicted to it. They could care less. Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
In some places they'd be convicted of attempted murder
Even McDonald's, I
for
think, put sugar
selling
in
stuff
fries,
like that.
right? McDonald's put sugar in the fries. I think.
Everything's got sugar in it. It's tough to find stuff without sugar. If you're a diabetic, you've had to play this game of let's read the labels and find stuff without sugar, and it's tough.
And it'll turn into sugar too if you eat it.
Yeah, the difference between a bowl of breakfast cereal with skim milk and 8 or 10 tablespoons of table sugar out of a bowl is about 15 minutes in your stomach. Breakfast cereals are poison. Whoever old Kellogg, Dr. Kellogg, who started this stuff, who had his own ideas about being a vegetarian and meat being bad for you, is responsible for probably the largest mass murder in the history of the human race. And then our government, who put out guidelines 40 or 50 years ago, they're responsible for more deaths than all other causes put together. And now that science actually knows the real story, you can't get people to believe it. It's like politics. There's too much money involved. too much money. These big food companies, there's too much money involved in, and too many people are addicted to this stuff. You think they're going to stop making junk food with sugar?
Right.
Too much money, and yet they'll outlaw cigarettes. Cigarettes are minor league compared to the number of people that sugar kills. Heart disease and diabetes.
Number one.
Yeah, yeah.
Changing the
But,
subject, Rick, have you flown your little Tinyhawk at all?
A few times I've done it. I was having a hard time with my leg walking, so when I fly it, if I get back behind the couch or something, I can't get to it. I have to go get my grabber.
I was just going to say, get the grabbers.
Those things, they have an affinity for under furniture behind the couch.
Yeah, no,
It's amazing.
no matter
It's
what.
like autopilot. They just
Yeah.
But you know what? You gotta. That's the only way you're going to learn.
Right.
Yeah, you just got to keep doing it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You're putting the goggles
Well,
on?
no, I've just been doing this line of sight right now.
you saw the video I played the other day about the little drone you sent me.
Yeah, that was
Did you
great.
see that? Yeah, I didn't do anything fancy with it, but at least I got out there and flew it. It's a scary, fast little thing, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Carlos, that little-
I'm gonna send you out this other one I got. It's supposed to be faster than that one.
Oh,
It's more for outdoors.
the Tinyhawk race, is that the one?
I'm not sure. Carlos knows what it is. I think.
He's talking about the race. What do they call it? The Tinyhawk race. You got one of them, don't you, Carlos?
Those are fast, really fast.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 2S or if it's both one or two.
Yes.
Excuse me, Carlos.
But you can fly at 1S.
But it's 2S. Does it have a 200 milliwatt transmitter, or has it still got the 25?
The race has 200 milliwatts. The Tinyhawk 2 has a 200 milliwatts.
Yeah, the freestyle needs the 200 because that's the problem when they're that fast. They get you get out of range too quick.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So as soon as I can get packed up there, I'll send it out to you.
Oh, you're going to send it to me?
Yeah.
Oh, aren't you a sweetheart?
There you go.
Thank you.
It's gonna take me too long, but it'll be outdated by the time I learn how to fly it.
I'll tell you what, Rick. You learn how to fly, I'll send it back to you.
All right.
That'll be a deal.
I think
That'd
that
be a deal.
Tinyhawk takes off. Wait till you try that race, Mitch. That thing takes off. Wow.
I can't understand you with a mouthful of
Oh,
smoke.
I'm
What'd you
sorry,
say?
that thing takes off. The Tinyhawk race really takes off compared
Yeah.
to the freestyle. It's even faster. You'll like it.
Well, I've
Yeah.
got a couple of drones that really go like hell.
I mean, they're little considering the size.
Yeah. I'd be happy if we just get a day where I got less than 15-mile-an-hour gust to 25. You know, it'd be really refreshing after a while. God, we still got 18 people here tonight. What am I doing wrong here? Yeah, usually, you know what happens at 7 o'clock? Night Train, Mike at Night Train
I think
has a
so.
live stream.
Went on live today.
And I usually lose half of the people that are here. But tonight they're hanging in there. Thanks.
So, Mitch, have you seen that video of putting oil in brushless motors?
No, I haven't watched the video. Just give me the bottom. I've heard about it, but is it?
Yeah,
what was the bottom line? Is it do or don't?
Really quiet.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
When you
But-
oil brushless motors.
yeah, but you've got sealed bearings in there,
Oh yeah, that's true.
and all that oil is just going to get all over the windings.
Yep.
And I saw
Yeah.
a video last year about that same thing, and the bottom line.
It'll get a lot of dust.
Oh, that's great, Rick.
It's the race.
That's cool.
Oh,
Look
there
at
we
that.
go.
Yeah.
Oh
neat.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a little bigger.
Cool. Well, that'd be great. Yeah. Anyway, the bottom line was don't oil your brushless
Yeah.
motors.
Well, we were talking about that. I think it was on Bill's show the other night.
Bill Thomas,
Yeah. Coast to
not
coast.
Bill the drone reviewer.
No.
Bill the drone reviewer is having orgasms now because of this new. You know, whenever there's a new DJI drone comes out.
Yeah.
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 I haven't. I honestly, I like. I mean, Bill. I think he's an okay guy.
Yeah.
I will still give him the credit for getting me started on YouTube, and he did. And he's been very kind to me, and nothing against him, but I just haven't. He doesn't watch me either, so I can't say that. It's not like he watches me and I
Yeah.
don't watch him. So,
Yeah.
but we would just went off in different directions. I'm not all about
Camera drone.
DJI anymore, or even camera drones that much.
Yeah.
Mitch, I'm going to take off and grab a munch.
Yeah, I'm sure an Art's going to take off because it's 5 to 8, and I'm going to take off because it's
didn't
almost
realize-
8 o'clock, and this 2 hours went flying by.
Yeah, it did.
And we had a nice deal. Rick, thanks for coming in, buddy. Good
No
to see you.
problem. I wanted to come in earlier, but I was a little under the weather, so I waited. I felt better. So
Well, get over it, man. Cut it out. Stop
Yeah,
feeling
cut it
bad.
out.
You start feeling bad. You tell them I said not to. That'll.
yeah,
Yeah. No, you take care of yourself, okay?
Hey, Rick,
Carlos,
thank you
take care, buddy.
for that poll.
What?
I just thanking Rick for the poll.
oh, not a problem.
Broke in now, so
It's official now. Now you're gonna. You won't need any more polls than that.
that's right.
That's cool.
All right, take
Yeah, it's
care,
very
everybody.
generous of you, Rick. Thanks. All right, Art, say hi to Ken for me. I'll probably be I don't ever go in his chat because nobody sees it anyway, and it goes by
I'll
so
say
fast.
hi to you.
Yeah, but I probably won't even see that you said hi because I don't. If I'm going to watch Ken, I'll watch the show
Okay.
rather than try to keep up with that chat. So I'll
Right.
probably,
Yeah,
after I get done, I'll probably fire it up and watch it for a little while. So.
I started watching Ken's live stream. It's from the very first one. I had never missed any until I don't know about a few months back. I missed one,
Uh-huh.
but
Well, you got sick there for a while, didn't you?
yeah. But when I was in the hospital, I still was able to watch your shows. When I had surgery, everything. I never missed it.
Well, I watch him every week.
It just
I
gets
watch
so
him every
it just gets so big now that there's got 400 people in there. You don't see me in there.
Yeah. No, he doesn't seem. He doesn't. See, I was. I've never met the guy in person. I was on one live stream with him in a window for about 5 minutes and talked
Yeah.
to him a little bit. And
One thing he answers all the comments every time you comment on his video. He reads every one.
yeah, he does. Well,
Yeah.
he has to. I mean, it's his livelihood now. It's his
Yeah.
livelihood now.
Right, with that many subscribers, he goes through every one of them and reads them.
Yeah. Well, Rick, thanks for coming in, buddy. You take
Well,
care of
thank you
yourself.
for-
Feel better
Thank you for the invite, and I'll see you on Sunday.
on Sunday. Okay, I'll be here. I'm sure.
Take care.
Take care. See
Bye-bye.
ya. All right, everybody, and that just leaves me and Spank the monkey. So we'll bring in a little music here and do my normal disappearing act at the end. Quick 2 hours. I really enjoyed it, and I had a great bunch of guests. I want to thank everybody that was in here: Rick Halber and Art and Gary and Carlos and me. And that was it. There were 5 of us. Manic Trev is here. Hey, Trev, how you doing, buddy? I didn't see you in there, but just in time to say goodbye. Mel. So what are you people going to do when the Mavic 2 starts flying? Complain, Mel. What do you think they're going to do? Anyway, thanks for coming in, guys. Bill, Metro Drones, thanks for coming in and staying the whole show. I appreciate that. Stingray, later to you too. Timeless Truths, Carlos, Mike Roche, thanks for being here. Rick, thanks for coming on. Ray Kelly, good to see you as usual. And Chris Hope is gone, I think, already. And who else is still in here? I'll go back. Jody, Drone Shots. I think anybody this far back is probably gone by now. But for those of you guys that are left, all 10 or 11 of you, thanks for coming in. Always appreciate it. And on that note, I'm going to turn up the blues a little bit. Turn it over to my sidekick, Spank the monkey to say goodnight. So say goodnight, Spanky.